So guys, this is the fabric we'll be using. A 6 yards of Ankara material, has two face that we're going to be manipulating to create the beautiful style. Then we're going to be using the lining, the black lining. We're going to cut out of it. The material is going to, the total material for the blouse should be around 4 years to 4.5 years. That is going to cost us. Then we have the lightweight interfacing for our lining, and we have the medium weight interfacing for our Ankara. So we're going to use elastic for the sleeve, then the zip, then with other things that we're going to use in making the beautiful blouse. So let's get cutting. So guys, I think we're going to do some little calculation before we cut our fabric. Now for our peplum is pleated, so we need 8 points where we are going to pleat our fabric, our peplum on, which is, I need 8 points. The 8 points are the center front, center back, the two sides, then the 4 dart points. Those are the total place I want to place my peplum, which is in total is 8 points we are placing our peplum. So now the 8 points I'm placing it, I'm going to be folding it by 2 inches, which makes that each side is a kissing pleat, so which makes it 4. That is, each one is going to take 4, which is 2 at each side. So if I multiply 8 by 4, which gives me 32 inches I need for my kissing pleat, and my total waist is 30, so I'm going to add it to it, which makes it 62. Are we getting it? So this 62 now, I'm going to divide it by the flay that I want, and the flay I want is 720 degree peplum. If you have not watched my 720 degree peplum flay, go and watch it. The calculation is there, the 1080 is there, the 1440 is there, the 360 is there. How I used to calculate my own. Now the 720 degree I need, now the 62 now, I'm going to divide it by 12. So which gives me, I think, 5 points once I've done it behind camera, which is 62 divided by 12. Okay, it gives me 5.16. Approximation, I'm going to use 5. I like approximating because anything you cut on a cycle stretches, so I'm going to use 5 to cut my peplum. That's what I'm going to use. Now to now calculate for my length that I need, I don't want to waste my fabric, so I say 5, which is what I'm going to cut out, plus the length that I want for my peplum, which is 7 inches. The total length of my blouse is 24, and the half length I'm using is my half length, which is my front length actually is 17.5 inches. So minus that, I'm going to get 6.5. So approximately I'm using 7. So that is 7 plus 1 inch seam allowance. So I'm using the total of 13. Actually, it's not seam allowance. I keep making that mistake. Hemming allowance. So total of 13. So 13 is in a single line, but you know, in our flay we normally fold into 2 to 4. So I need another 13 to fold into 2 before folding into 4, which is another 13. So I'm using 26. So I'm going to use 26 inches length and 26 inches width. That's what I'm going to cut out. I hope we get it. If you don't get it, drop your question in the comment section below. So I'm using 26 inches length by 26 inches width. So that's what I'm going to cut out, and I'm going to show us how to cut out the material for our front length and back length and our peplum. So I'm going to show it because subsequently I may not show it, so I'm showing it here now. So this is our lining. I'm going to be cutting out of the lining. So this side is by 44, then this is in the other edge. So we're going to cut the 26 by 26 out of it. So how do we do it? We'll fold the 13, fold this way and measure 13. We measure the 13. Okay. So this is 13. By folding, that makes it 26. So the folded side, we're going to measure 26. So okay. So I'm going to take it from this other side. So I'm going to connect by my ruler. So we've gotten our 26 that unfold, then this side and the lengthwise 26. So we're going to cut it out now. Okay. So this is our 26 by 26. So this is how we're going to cut it. We're going to mark our 5, but before then I'm going to cut out another lining and cut out from the fabric, which makes it 2 2. I'm going to cut 2 out of the fabric and 2 out of the lining. So now we're going to cut for our front length, which is popularly called half length. So my front length is 17 and a half plus half an inch. I'm going to mark that, which is 18. So I'm going to mark 18. Then to cut for our biggest part of the body, sometimes it might be the waist that is bigger, might be the bust, depending. So but in my situation, it's my bust that is bigger because it's half length, not the hip. So what do? I divide my bust into 4, so which is 37 divided by 4. I have 9/4. Then I add 4 inches sewing allowance for my breast cut and other sewing allowance, so which is 4 inches. So now what is remaining, not to waste your fabric, you fold back to that line. You fold back to that line, so it enables you not to waste your fabric. So now I'm going to connect my line and cut out. So you see, so this for my front length. Then I'm going to cut the same for my back. I would have done what is necessary to be done, but I just want to show you guys the process. So I'm cutting for the back now. We're going to share everything together so that you get the tips and tricks. So after cutting, I'm now going to iron in my paper gum to my lining, and to my fabric I will add in my hairstay, then the wording into my lining. If you have not watched my other video, go watch it. Even how to sew your bustier or your dress in short, how to sew it the right way, go and watch it. So I've cut my lining out. So I've cut for my peplum, which is going to be 2. So I'm going to iron my interfacing here. So guys, this is the 2 and front length, which is 17.5 plus half an inch. I'm making an off shoulder just like I said, but I have a reason for marking out all my front lengths so that I can show you the details. So what we need to do now, this is the 2 that I mark. So I'll mark out my zip allowance first, which is 1.5. So I'll place the front close to it and I can pin. Okay. So the next thing I need to do now, this is my front leg just like I said, plus half an inch. Then my under bust is 14 plus half an inch is 14.5. I will mark. My bust depth is 10.5, which is the nipple point plus half an inch, 11. My armhole depth, if I have not watched my basic bodies, go and watch it. My armhole depth, because the calculation is there to get your armhole depth, is 7.5, so I'm marking it. Then my off shoulder can be between, depends on the client you're working with or you individual that is wearing it, can be between 3, 4, 5, 6, even 7, but I'm working with 5 here, so that is 5. So I will remark again, which is 5, 7.5 for my upper bust. You can calculate that too. There's the difference between your nipple points to under bust, so to get your upper bust, but it's different from the armhole depth. So now 11 and 14.5. And I'm going to square out now. Yeah, so I've gotten my vertical measurements out. So the next thing we need to mark is our nipple point to nipple point, which is the same thing as the bust bar. Mine is 7, so divide into 2 is 3.5 plus half an inch, that is 4 inches. So I'm going to mark the 4 inches to the nipple point, which is this. Then for my under bust, I'm removing 3/4 inch because I want to tighten my under bust. 3/4 inch, so I'm going to remove it from my 4 inch. So I'm going to mark 3/4 here. I'm doing the same thing to my waistline, 3/4 here. Then for the upper chest, the off shoulder line, I'm going to remove half an inch. So I'm going to mark there. So I'm going to connect it by moving away half an inch from there, half an inch from there. Okay, so from my under bust and my waistline, I'm going to make them the same thing. I'm removing 2.5 for bust 37. For smaller bust you can use 1.5. For bigger bust you can use 3, 2. just study your clients, study body, then you know what to remove. So from here now, I'm going to connect to this. So we turn the ruler and we mark the same away from the half an inch and connect. Okay, then we'll connect to this. Okay, then from the upper chest, we'll remove 1.5 inch. Remove 1.5 inch, then we'll still connect from half an inch here to this point. Okay, so now we have done all our bust points and under bust, removing the excess. Now we're going to mark our bust circumference divided by 4. So now my bust circumference is 37 divided by 4 is 9/4. So I'm going to mark that on my bust point line and my bust line. So it's 9/4. Same thing. I'm going to mark my armhole depth line, which is can serve as your upper bust too. Now my under bust, I'm going to use 7, just like I said 30. I'm going to use 7.5 divided by 4. The same thing for my bust. It can be different, depends on the client or you that you are working on measurements. So now all that we're removing here, the sewing allowance, will now be added. So now I remove 2.5 here, 2.5 here. So I'm going to add the 2.5 back. I would have added everything with my sewing allowance, but just for the process of explanation. So this I removed 1.5. So this point is 1 inch. So I'm going to add the 1 inch back. So I will get in it. Now this place half an inch to use in joining. So the same. Okay. So we are cutting all what is missing here. We are removing from our body to make it a 3D body. So now we are going to add our sewing allowance, which is I'm using 1.5 inch for sewing allowance. 1.5, 1.5, 1.5. So I'm going to connect this one here. Okay. So now the upper chest, which is where we're going to connect our armhole. I'm going to use the across chest points or the back with any of them. So my across chest point is 7 inches, which is 14 divided into 2. So I'm going to use the 7 inches here plus the 1.5 here. So that's making it 8.5. Okay. From this point now, I'll connect my armhole. So we have gotten out all our measurements. I hope you guys understand. So this is what I need for my front. Now for my back, I'm going to remove the pin. I will remark the points. I would have done it straight, but just for the purpose of not confusing you guys is why I have to redo it. Okay. This is my zip allowance. Okay. So now I'm going to the same nipple to nipple measurement I'm going to use here, which is 4. It's just like adding that to this point, but I don't want to use that, so I'm going to cut it off. So in between this place, I'm going to use half inch. So it's like I'm marking 1 inch out of the 3.5, marking 3.5 here. Then the same thing goes up. So it's like removing, just marking 3.5, 3.5, 3.5. Like marking it, straight. Okay, so 1 inch I'm removing from the under breast and the waistline. Okay, so I'm removing this. Then I'm still going to mark my measurements, which is this is 7.5 here plus 1 inch, that means 8.5 plus 1.5 inch, that is 10. So 8.5, making it 10. Okay, the same thing here, I'm going to make it 10. I hope we understand. That is 7.5. I'm marking 7.5 plus this 1 inch plus sewing allowance. The same thing applies. Then this is 9/4. Okay, 9/4 plus just this measurement, which is 3/4 inch plus 1.5. So 3/4 plus 1.5. Okay, same thing applies here. So I'm going to do all the measurements here. And this one is the same thing as my upper chest plus half an inch. So I'm going to connect it. Okay, so this is my back. This is what I'm removing. My back I'm removing because there's no bust at the back. That's what I'm removing here. That's what makes it different. So everything is completed now, but what I need to do is I'm going to cut everything out. Then my back length and my front length are not the same. Okay, so now this is my front length, which is 17.5. My back length is always, your back length will always be shorter than your front length. The reason being that your bust has displaced your tape, or it might be your tummy has displaced your tape. So it makes the difference between the front length and the back length. In my own case, it's just 1 inch. In some people it might be more than, but in my case it's 1 inch. So I'm going to mark 1 inch here and remove it. I would have used it as a bust dart, but I don't want to use it in this style. It depends on what I'm sewing. I cannot use it as a bust dart, but in a normal case, when we are cutting free hand, what we normally do is cut it out. So I'm going to mark the 1 inch here so that you can see. Take it all the way this way. Then for the back, I'm going to remove a total of 1 inch, so as to get your fitting right. When I finish the dress, you will see it. I'm going to show you, and you have even seen it from the beginning of the video. So you cut it off. Every sewing allowance has been added from the beginning. So yeah, I'm going to cut this again. If you watch my children's how to make a baby dress, you will see something like this. So I'm not going to cut this one now. I'm finished with this now. I'm just going to cut this out. I can sew it as a dart. I can sew it as a dart if I want. Sometimes I don't, most times I don't even cut it away. I just sew it out. So now when I was starting, I said I added, after my bust measurement divided by 4, I added 4 inches. Sometimes it can be 6 inches depending on the person's bust. Just that I don't like wasting material, so that's why I added. I make sure I calculate everything before cutting. Now the dress is a sweetheart neckline, but I don't cut it the same way. I don't cut it because it's a free hand. So it's when I finish sewing, I have to cut it. Okay, so we finished